Hello everybody. Welcome to another speedrun episode against a line. Rated 1150. Will we get a Scotch Gambit? Let's find out. Today's episode of Dragon Ball Z. They always pause here. I guess most people don't even play the Scotch game, where you don't gambit a pawn, where you just take back with the knight, the Scotch. Yeah, that's not that popular, so I guess they're not used to facing it. Most people just play the Rui or the Italian. So he just brings out a knight, but that hangs a pawn and clearly losing, right? I think we had one speedrun game like this, and he thought he was getting the pawn back like this. But I think we won right away with bishop out and queen d5. So I think we did bishop first just to be sneakier. If he goes here, but that hangs a pawn, at least. If we take this way, his knight's hanging. And bishop f7 tactics. If we en passant, we help him develop, but his knight's loose. Let's take the free pawn and hit these two things. I think the game's just over. 6 moves, Scotch Gambit win. Oh wait, no, it's not Scotch Gambit. He didn't take the pawn. But still, because when your repertoire is Scotch Gambit, you have to also have Scotch Gambit declined, ideas. So it's still part of your Scotch Gambit repertoire. Anyway, he develops the bishop. The knight protects the queen, so he can't just take here, unfortunately. However, his knight's hanging, I'm pretty sure. But our queen's undefended, so he's going to go for this. But I can move my king up and not take it. He has a knight check, but it hangs. And I'll be up a piece. Okay, he goes for the queen trade. That just wins a pawn, though. But I was already up a pawn and a piece, so... Yeah, so if he's going to go down this, I mean, we just win. Okay, so our king is here. So whenever you can't castle because of some type of queen trade, always keep in mind the C and the F pawns, pushing them one and making that the new home for your king. Wherever your king happens to be, push that pawn and that's the new home. So I'm going to push this, create a new home on C2 against any checks. It also prevents his pieces from using these squares, which is super nice. Okay, he develops, but the knight's more than defended. We're up so much material, I don't want to give him counterplay or ideas. I don't even want him to have an army. So he pins the knight, which does technically threaten the pawn. Although you don't have to trade, I'm going to trade. It happens to create pawn islands, isolated pawns, permanent weaknesses in the position. But most importantly, it's liquidating his resources. He no longer has possibilities or ideas. Now I get my king out of the center. Knight's unpinned, he can take if he wants, but he's down a piece, so be careful. He could try to check me out of this location, which potentially could be annoying. So he goes pawn hunting. I mean, it's not annoying. You can just hide your king somewhere else and your pieces are all defending it, but because we did give up our light square bishop, he could give us this check. So just to be proactive about that situation, I'm going to make a move that may look weird, but makes sense, and that's b3. And now I'm just making a new home for my king. You normally don't have to do this, but considering I made that trade, which is both at the same time unnecessary and completely winning, so now my king will always have a super secure home, and that's it. But he trades, so I'm not going to have to waste my turn going to beast 2, right? I'm never going to have to do that again. Now my bishop just has a little extra resources to move. We're up a clean knight. He has clear weaknesses. He targets one of our weakness, but it's not an isolated pawn, is it? We could move the, another pawn behind it, or we could attack his bishop. It's a stronger counter threat. I say let's start by attacking the bishop because I do plan on pushing the pawn, but with my rook behind it, that's probably even better than a rook on h1. So it almost builds up our position for free. Because I do plan on protecting the pawn with f4. Might as well, since I might as well connect them, right? They're a lot stronger connected. And yes, I'm lagging a little in development, but then again, he doesn't even have a knight to develop, so he moves the bishop, of course, but now we can defend. It's protected, the base of the chain. He can't go here. This is, these block his rooks. He can't go forward. What's your bishop really doing? Nobody knows. And even worse, what happens when I attack it? So be careful where you move your rooks. Okay, so he goes to break down the structure, which does make a lot of sense. Unfortunately, we cannot support this point any real way. So we could sack a pawn for development or just take and release his bishop. If we just develop our knight and he takes it, I think I'm just going to go for the knight development and let him take. I don't want to spend my turn moving a pawn. I'd rather go here next. And okay, he doesn't even take. But now I can push. Although if he pushes here, I can't connect my pawns necessarily. So it might be premature. In this case, though, remember what I said about his bishop? I said be careful where you move your rook, but he blocked its retreat with f6. So now it just hangs. And he can't even desperado it for a pawn properly. So I don't know what his best move is actually. This? Rook g1? King over. His pawn would still be here. And then I would take this pawn. His bishop's loose again. But then he could take here. His bishop's defended again. I mean, I could win a pawn and develop. But I don't think I get the bishop there. In any case, he takes this, but that's a free piece. So now we're up 2 minor pieces. Our rooks are connected. Wherever he puts his rook, we'll contest it. That would hang a piece, though. So let's contest it, but only in a different way. We'll just contest the other rook. When your rooks are connected, it's almost interchangeable. What's the property in math? Okay, he gives us a random check. I guess we can just attack it. Now both his rooks are hit, so I don't know what he does. Actually, do I have a different move? Here. Okay. I mean, he kind of has to take my rook or go back. I guess he could double this way, but what's the point? He wants to give me random checks, I guess? That doesn't make any sense. It's all bad, completely losing for him. Maybe that's his best try to hope I mate myself, but it's not even really possible. I guess he can try this, but he can't defend this. There's no way to even create a mating net with these pawns. So he goes back, but I'm definitely taking a rook. Definitely bringing in my other one for free. Definitely centralizing my knight for free. Okay. He goes the other way. I'll just take free stuff. He can't even give the checks. Down 2 pieces. Game's over. And if you guys cannot beat Stockfish here, that's not good. Okay, random, whatever. I'll attack the pawn and prepare to go here. Because if I went here, it doesn't really have a good idea after it. So he tries to pin it or whatever and win it. But we want to trade. Please trade. I beg you. There's no way he's going to trade, right? He also can't give a check, which is what he's really just waiting for, is that check. I can sense it. Okay, let's dominate the rook further. And when I go in, where are you going? This is hanging. You see how pieces are annoying? Even in completely winning positions, pieces are just annoying. Like, he's obviously going to lose. It's just a matter of time, but the fact he can move around a piece, you shouldn't let them have that luxury. Take everything. Leave him with pawns, because no one likes just pushing pawns. So he's just making random moves. I'm just countering so I can get the turn back, but he's so slow that I have to wait for my turn. There is nothing to think about. Free stuff. Free stuff. Free stuff. Go here with your king. Go here with your king so we can get you to resign. Do it. Thank you. See? He's a good listener. That's one of his best qualities. And now he has no pieces, so there's nothing for him to think about. So he doesn't need to use his clock. But he'll do it anyway. Unbelievable. This is not going to end well, sir. I'm just going to get a little closer. Maybe I can create some type of mating net. I think I can, actually. I'm 2 moves away. I didn't even need the pawn. Here and here. He can't get out of it. And he only had 1 legal move left. That was the perfect timing with the checkmate. Pretty cool how that worked out, that he only had 1 legal move left by the time of the checkmate. Very nice. Just how I had planned it on move 1. So we try to get a Scotch Gambit. But the universe says nope. You're just going to get a free pawn instead. And it's move 4 plus 1.1 advantage. Our opponent played with a 90% accuracy. Can't fault him for that. We had 97 though, so. Plus this move just loses you the game on move 4. So it doesn't matter how accurate. I mean, that's not true. Stockfish should beat me from here, but for him, whatever he does, he's going to lose this game. Because he just gave up a pawn and his knight position for no reason. He takes here, but we just have way too much going on. Like, this pawn blunts his bishop and queen. We don't have that. We're free to go. So tactics always work for us. So we develop, center, and king. His king. He goes here, which immediately hangs another pawn. So now it's +1, and you just want to be white here. Then it goes straight to +4 because he doesn't defend his knight, which is ridiculous. Then he trades queens, but if he does throw this in, this bishop check, just don't take the bishop. Oh wait, of course you can take the bishop. Holy moly, the rook's defending. But you don't even have to. Even if you just lift your king up, you're still completely winning. See, my brain wanted to be fancy just to show off and go king e2, but you could definitely take the bishop. So he takes, we take, he castles, it's +5. That's crazy. We just make a little space for our king. You don't have to do this, but it's fully justified since your pawn's hanging anyway. And it ruins his position, and you're up a piece. So it's +4. We hide our king, and now we just create a second hiding spot. I'm curious, what's the best move here? That's cool. Okay, so you could just develop with bishop f4, and it does say that in that case, if you develop the rook or bishop, he should give that check. So let's say you develop and he gives the check. Where are you putting your king? King d1, and then you could cover it with the knight and kind of go back. I don't really like that. I mean, that's why even though every move's winning, it does say best by a tiny bit is b3. So happy I played that, even though it looks weird. If you just consider the specifics of the position, you logically can come to these moves. But then he trades, which was dumb. Develop for free. Force move. Development and center. Improve for free. So here it's +6, but let's say he goes here. I was thinking just move the rook over. And then I was thinking he kind of has to... Oh wait, what am I saying? If I move the rook over, he escapes. I mean, it's +7, but you don't get the bishop. I was really wondering if... So they want you to just push. But that's weird. You could take the trade into a winning endgame with his rook. Yeah, there's no way to take advantage of the bishop once he plays b5. I thought b5 was his best move. Okay, so we go here. He doesn't play it. Free bishop. Free pawn. Putting a piece to a defended square. Defended meaning by a pawn. And now we offer the trade. Random check, improving our king. Free stuff because trades are wins. Free improving move. Free stuff. Force move. Force move. Improving a piece for free. Force move. Improving a piece for free. And then it's just the same thing. He gets mated. You've seen the rest of this. You've seen how this movie ends. So we'll go to the next one in the next video. Submit one of your games that you lost and are not sure what went wrong. Goodbye.